You call first when you are in distress. In a beautiful, busy city of Udom lived a young, prosperous man named Uchenna. Uchenna's life was filled with blessings and riches. He had everything any young man could ever wish for. But there was one thing that weighed heavily on his heart. He had been married to a kind-hearted woman, Mma, for several years, but they remained childless. Uchenna, yearning for an heir, began to grow distant from Mma. Even Uchenna, though supportive at first, began to change. He grew distant, frustrated by the pressure and the weight of unfulfilled expectations. Mma often cried herself to sleep, her pillow soaked with tears that bore the pain of isolation and guilt. Things got worse when even the neighbors joined Uchenna in making life more unbearable for her. Even the market women who were supportive, advising patience and offering prayers. But as time came by, whispers grew louder as they would refer to Mma as Nwanyi Nwoke, meaning the woman who is a man. They mocked her inability to conceive, and their words like arrows pierced her heart. In the midst of her troubles, Mma reached out to her childhood friend Nkem for comfort. Nkem, a vibrant and confident woman, had always been Mma's rock. When Nkem arrived at their home, her energy seemed to light up the house. She consoled Mma, wiping her tears and offering her words of hope. "God's time is the best, my friend," Nkem said, her arm around Mma. "You are not barren. The world is just impatient." On the other hand, Uchenna never liked the idea of Nkem coming over to the house, which she tried to convince Mma to let her friend leave the next day. But Mma refused, insisting that Nkem's presence was all she needed at that moment. For a while, Nkem's presence eased Mma's burden. She stayed with the couple for weeks, helping with chores and providing companionship to Mma. But unknown to Mma, something bad was about to happen. Uchenna, worn down by his frustration, by Nkem's beauty, began to grow close to her. At first, it was innocent, a sharing joke and lingering glance. But soon, their bond deepened into something Mma never suspected. One evening, as Mma prepared dinner in the kitchen, she overheard voices from the living room. Peeking through the curtain, she saw her husband, who had just got back from work, dancing with Nkem, their hands brushing. Her heart sank, but she convinced herself it was nothing. Later that evening, she confronted Uchenna over what happened in the day, but instead of him apologizing, he brushed it off. Mma cried herself to bed that night. A month later, Uchenna announced his intention to marry Nkem as his second wife. Mma was blindsided. Her tears and protests fell on deaf ears. "I need a child to carry on my name," Uchenna said coldly. "Nkem understands that," he said. 2 weeks later, Nkem moved in. Everything changed. She treated Mma not as a co-wife, but as a servant. She belittled her at every occasion, calling her names like childless tree and a waste of space. She ensured that Mma ate only leftovers, while she and Uchenna dialed on best meals. Mma endured the Emma treatment in silence, her spirits crushed but not broken. The villagers, who once pitied her, now whispered even more cruelly, blaming her for bringing Nkem into their home. Months passed, and Nkem became pregnant. The neighbors celebrated, and Uchenna's pride swelled. Mma, however, was relegated to the background, her presence barely acknowledged. Yet in her despair, she found solace in prayer and in the quiet moments she spent tending the garden she had planted years ago. One fateful day, as she walked in the garden, always with a beaming smile, an elderly woman approached her. The woman, known as Mama Oge, who was a respected herbalist and spiritual guide in the community. "My child," Mama Oge said, her voice kind yet firm, "your pain is not the end of the story. There is still light ahead." Mma confided in Mama Oge, pouring out her heart. The elderly woman listened carefully and gave her a special concoction made from the herbs, instructing her to take it faithfully, trust in the process, and be patient, she said. Months later, Nkem gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, and the household erupted in celebration. But soon after that, Nkem fell ill. Her once vibrant energy went down, and her harshness towards Mma diminished. Uchenna, overwhelmed by the demands of caring for a newborn and a sick wife, began to lean on Mma once more. One morning, to everyone's surprise, Mma discovered she was pregnant. The news spread through the neighborhood like wildfire. The same neighbors that had mocked her now came over to celebrate with her. Marveling at the turn of events, Nkem, bedridden and weakened, watched helplessly as Mma's belly grew and the household's attention shifted towards Mma. Few months down the line, Mma gave birth to twins, a handsome baby boy named Ezinna and a beautiful baby girl, Ezinne, and their neighborhood erupted in celebration at the miraculous news. The twins were healthy, strong, and cute, and Uchenna was overjoyed. Uchenna apologized to Mma, recognizing the depth of the strength and love, despite everything he had put her through. Mma, though cautious, accepted his apology for the sake of their babies. As for Nkem, she recovered, but found herself sidelined. She was no longer the center of attention. Mma, however, chose not to retaliate. She treated Nkem with kindness, knowing that bitterness would only perpetuate the cycle of pain. However, the affection for Mma and her twins only deepened Nkem's bitterness. She watched with growing resentment as people lavished praise and gifts upon the twins. Even Uchenna, despite his initial favorism, found himself drawn to the twins and their gentle mother. Nkem felt her position in the household slipping and became consumed with jealousy. In the shadows of her envy, Nkem began to whisper venom into her daughter Olana's ear. "Your father loves them more than you," she would say. "Mma and her twins are the reason you will never be truly happy in this house." As Olana grew, this word took root, and she began to distrust Mma and her children. Meanwhile, Nkem's hatred reaching a boiling point, she devised a plan to get rid of the twins once and for all. Nkem approached a drifter known for his questionable morals and offered him a handsome sum to take the twins far away to a distant village where they would never be found. She wanted Mma to suffer the agony of loss forever. The drifter, however, was not as heartless as Mma believed. Troubled by the gravity of the act he was asked to commit, he sought counsel from his friends and took the case to the nearest police station. The police officers, shocked and enraged, convened a secret council to investigate the matter. On the appointed day, as Nkem waited news of the twins' disappearance, she called the drifter, but he never picked up. There she knew something might be wrong somewhere. The drifter explained everything to the police officers. She was later handed over to the police. Uchenna and Mma, frozen, shame and fury etched on their faces. The police, after deliberating, declared Mma a danger to the community and its harmony. As punishment, she was banished, never to return to the community. With Nkem gone, peace returned to Uchenna's household. Those scars remained. Olanna, now aware of her mother's deeds, struggled with guilt and confusion. Mma, ever kind-hearted, took her in and treated her with love, slowly undergoing the damage Nkem had caused. The twins and Olanna grew up to be shining stars, their bond with Olanna growing stronger over time. Uchenna, humbled by the events, devoted himself to his family, vowing never to allow and let any ambition or pride cloud his judgment again. Mma's story became a lesson to everyone who heard about it. It taught the value of forgiveness and faith in the face of overwhelming adversity. Those who were once quick to judge learned to offer support instead of scorn, and Mma, now a mother, found peace in her new role. She emerged stronger, her spirit unbroken, proving that even in the darkest moments, light can prevail.